Welcome back to CIA Declassified. Today we delve into the gritty, desperate days of 1942. The Office of Strategic Services, or OSS, the CIA's predecessor, faced a logistical nightmare in occupied territories: how to arm a resistance when every checkpoint is a potential death trap. They needed a substance that could pass a sniff test, a touch test, and even a taste test. They found their answer in the pantry. We're looking at a time when the agency's predecessors turned baking into a ballistics science, creating a weapon that looked like breakfast but hit like a landslide. The year is 1942. The OSS needed a way to smuggle high-yield explosives. This was the birth of one of the most ingenious and strange inventions of the war. This is the story of the Aunt Jemima explosive. Why give a deadly demolition tool the name of a famous pancake brand? The project was officially spearheaded by George Kistiakowsky, a brilliant Harvard chemist. The factual reason for the name Aunt Jemima was its physical appearance. The explosive was a powdered HMX compound mixed with regular wheat flour. Because it looked exactly like a commercial pancake mix, the scientists gave it the brand name moniker as dark humor. It was designed to be packaged in ordinary flour bags, making it indistinguishable from civilian rations. To the unsuspecting eye, it was just baking supplies. To the resistance, it was a bridge collapsed. Aunt Jemima was composed of 75% HMX and 25% standard baking flour. This allowed the substance to retain the biological properties of food while maintaining its destructive potential. A quote from an OSS technical manual dated 1944. The mixture may be baked into bread, biscuits, or muffins. In its baked state, it remains a high-velocity explosive, requiring only a standard blasting cap for initiation. End quote. To prove the mixture was safe and stable, Kistiakowsky reportedly baked a batch of cookies using the explosive flour and ate one in front of military brass. A quote from OSS Chief Wild Bill Donovan: "We need the unconventional. If a loaf of bread can take out a Panzer tank, then the bakery is our new armory." End quote. Over 15 tons of Aunt Jemima were shipped to resistance fighters in Japanese-occupied China. Because it could be kneaded into dough, agents would shape the bread around bridge supports. While edible, the mixture was said to taste gritty, and eating too much could cause severe headaches due to the vasodilating effects of the nitramines. Nitramines? The HMX used in the flour was specifically chosen because it has a higher detonation velocity than TNT, making the bread significantly more powerful than standard military plastic explosives. A quote from a 1945 declassified after-action report: "The edible nature of the explosive proved the deciding factor in the successful sabotage of the Yangtze River Rail Bridge, as the material were passed through 3 separate Japanese checkpoints as humanitarian relief." The OSS developed a specialized baking powder that acted as a chemical stabilizer, ensuring the HMX wouldn't settle at the bottom of the bag during transit. Unlike earlier attempts with TNT, which was toxic and bitter, the HMX flour blend could be consumed in small quantities without immediate illness, which was vital for deep cover operatives. When we dig into the declassified files, we do hit a few walls. For instance, the file that holds the most redactions, looking at thousands of pages, is specifically the section on modern application of stable nitramines in commercial supply chains. It's a sea of ink. Why is the government so afraid of a 1940s flour recipe in 2026? Get ready for the theory of the poisoned pantry. Speculation suggests food supplies are being preceded with explosive compounds. This theory claims the redactions in the supply chain integration logs hide a national self-destruct protocol. They argue the missing pages describe a version of Aunt Jemima that is already inside every bag of flour in the country, waiting for a specific microwave frequency to trigger a massive simultaneous explosion. Some imagine the redacted pages have to do with dormant agent protocols and that it hides a hunger weapon. This theory argues the agency uses the explosive flour additives as a way to vaporize the food supply of an enemy nation overnight. Theorists looking at the blacked out sections state that there may be a domestic distribution yield section and that Aunt Jemima was just a test for smart dough. They claim the redactions hide a chemical that once eaten stays in the human body, turning the population into walking targets for satellite lasers. Gossip suggests the black bars have to do with emergency ration fortification sections that are potentially redacted and a scorched earth policy. This theory posits that the agency has replaced all survival rations with explosive variants. Rumor says that there are redactions hiding a fast food strike. They claim the redactions prove that the agency can turn any commercial bakery into an ordnance factory in under 4 hours using pre-stashed additives. Some believe the redacted pages hide a biological blasting agent. This theory suggests the agency has engineered a type of yeast that naturally produces HMX as it ferments. Speculation persists that the redactions have to do with a civilian resource control section, which ultimately would have proven that the government uses the Aunt Jemima tech to tag citizens. They claim flour contains microscopic markers that show up on agency scanners. Fringe gossip argues the redacted sections describe a kitchen spy. This theory claims the explosive flour also contains nanosensors that turn your dinner into a listening device. Whispers from the dark web suggest that the redacted nutritional sabotage files have to do with the agency using the flour to control 2026 population growth. They claim the additives are actually neural sedatives. A wild theory claims the missing pages describe a baker's network of deep cover agents. They claim the redactions hide the locations of high-yield bakeries providing untraceable explosives for black ops. Conspiracy enthusiasts argue that the agriculture modification test redactions hide the CIA's secret that they have genetically modified wheat to be naturally explosive. Lastly, some suggest the redactions are so heavy because they prove the Aunt Jemima flour is already in the water supply. This theory posits that the redactions hide a liquid flour that they can turn any beverage into a high explosive payload. Was the Aunt Jemima explosive a success? Tactically, it was a culinary masterpiece. It allowed the resistance to operate with a freedom that conventional explosives never would have permitted. Strategically, it was a logistical ghost. It proved that the best way to hide a weapon is to make it look like something essential for life. As far as technological and operational breakthroughs go, the Baker's bomb led to breakthroughs that still influence covert ops today, such as stable compound hybridization, mixing high explosives with everyday materials, non-toxic ordnance development, research into explosives that can be handled without safety gear, culinary concealment tactics, smuggling items through high-volume food channels, and advanced nitramine stabilization, allowing plastic explosives to remain stable in extreme environments. The Aunt Jemima project reminds us that in war, even the most innocent objects can be tools for destruction. Thanks for listening, and join us next time as we look at the day the agency practiced for the end of the world. We're going to examine Operation Square Leg. In the Cold War, the agency needed to know if they could survive a nuclear winter. We'll uncover the survivor roster manifest and the post-atomic governance logs. Join us next time for the Fallout Files. In the meantime, I'll see you in the archives.